everyone, Miss Westwood here. I hope you're all doing really well and are staying safe. Today, we are looking at a new musical symbol called the fermata. So, let's get to it.
Music lessons with Miss Westwood. Yay!
The word fermata, like a lot of other words we use in music, actually comes from an Italian word, fermare, which means to stop. When we use a fermata in music, we don't actually stop the note, but we stop on it or pause on it, sustaining the note. When we do this, we intentionally make the note longer than its written value. The symbol we use to show a fermata is this. A lot of people also refer to a fermata as a pause because of what we do with it. It is important to note that the words fermata and pause are interchangeable, so when your band director or your teacher asks you to play from either the pause or the fermata, you know what they're talking about. Now, there is no hard and fast rule that we use for this, but generally you will want to add about half the value of the note that is written. For example, if we have a fermata on top of a semibreve, we know that a semibreve is 4 beats. Therefore, if we were to add half, which is 2, to the 4, that means we would hold that note for 6 beats instead of 4. Let's try another example. If we had a fermata on top of a minim, which we know is 2 beats, we would generally add half the value of that note. So half the value of 2 is 1, and we know 2 plus 1 is 3. Therefore, we would hold a minim with a fermata for 3 beats instead of 2. And don't forget, pauses can sit on top of rests as well, so make sure you count them out. So this is just the basic way to play a fermata, and it is really good for beginners to get into the habit of counting as they play their notes. However, please remember that this is not a set rule. The reason I'm going on about it so much is that sometimes when you start playing with other people, it changes. I'm going to talk about the 2 main instances of this happening. The first is when you play in an orchestra or a band where you have a conductor. When you play with others, regardless of how long you want to hold that note for, it is ultimately the conductor who decides how long that note goes for. When you see a fermata in your music, as a good musician, you should look up at your conductor as soon as you hit that note. That way you will see when you're supposed to end it. To end the note, your conductor might cut off the note like this. By watching your conductor, you will know exactly when to finish that note, and if everyone in the orchestra does it, you'll all play that last note for the exact same amount of time and it will sound amazing. The second instance where the fermata might not be exactly the note plus half is if you're playing with others in a small group. This could be a duet, trio, quartet, or even a small group of people called a chamber orchestra. In these instances, there is often no conductor, but there is a lead player. The lead player is the person who decides how long pauses will go for. Because they are playing in the small group, they often won't have their hands free, so they have another way of communicating to everybody in the group when to stop the note. Like a good musician, as soon as you see your note with a fermata, you should flick your eyes up to your lead player and you might see them do something like this. Depending on the instrument that they play, they might do a little circle or even just a little bounce to let you know to release your note. Like I said earlier, when you play with other people, your note with a fermata may not be exactly the note length plus half. So it is important that you watch your conductor or your lead player to see when to release the note. And that's all there is to it. So let's recap to make sure you got everything. 1. The word fermata means to stop on or to pause on a note. You are directed to hold or sustain this note for longer than the written value. 2. Generally, you will play the note for its written value plus half of what that value is. But remember, this is not a set rule, so it can change at any time depending on what your conductor or band leader wants. 3. When you are playing with other people, make sure as soon as you see a fermata, you hit the note and then you flick your eyes up to either your conductor or your lead player because they are the person who's going to tell you when to release that note. If everybody does it all together, it sounds amazing. So there it is, the fermata. Hopefully you found this video helpful, but if there was anything that you think you may have missed or didn't quite understand, feel free to rewind and rewatch any parts. Keep working hard, be kind to your families, and always remember to wash your hands. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.